Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here with the discussion video because I want to talk about story progression. I feel like because of eco lifestyle, it is more likely that it is going to actually come to the game one day. But we need to start by rewinding a little bit to a survey that you may have heard about. I talked about it on the channel before, some months back, because it did mention the idea of NPC story progression. Now your neighbors come to life. Sims outside of your household live their lives from birth, marriage, and death. Imagine the possibilities when the drama can start next door. So even if you've never played The Sims 3, I think this does explain story progression pretty well, where even when you're not playing as the other Sims living in the world, they will still progress on their own, whether it's adopting a baby, or getting married, or dying, and other stuff as well. So yeah, it's quite an interesting sort of feature, and yeah, The Sims 3 was when it was first introduced, and I know a lot of people want that in The Sims 4. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of it because I do like having a lot more control over my Sims stories, but maybe if they had more specific options that you could turn on and turn off, like say not having my Sims get married while I'm not playing as them, but could still build up a couple of skill points while I'm off playing as another household, I'd be fine with that. So I still actually want this feature, even though I might not use it depending on how it's executed. But what does eco lifestyle have anything to do with this? Well, there's a couple of features in the pack that I think are kind of setting up story progression as a possibility within the game's capabilities. Because one of those things is the whole community venues feature, where you can have your Sims vote on 1 out of 4 different venues that it can turn into, and then after the voting period is over, then it turns into the one that got the most votes in the end. And to my surprise, the venue actually changes the look before you even go back there. You don't have to like go to the lot and then the lot changes the appearance and then you'll see it around the neighborhood if you stick there and go to other lots. No, it already does that on its own. So that's one thing where I feel like, oh, okay, there's a bit of inactive progression going on in the game already. The other thing does have to do more with the Sims themselves though, because with the neighborhood action plans, the other thing that you can vote on those boards is something that actually happens in all neighborhoods in your game. I was really surprised about this too, because I started going around to the different worlds in my game to add those community voting boards, and when I went there with the Sim, for example, I went to Palm Island. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one I went to first. And I found out after I placed the board that the We Wear Bags policy was already going, and I hadn't played there at all since installing Eco Lifestyle. And it was quite funny. Yeah, I already saw Sims wearing paper bags. My Sim wasn't wearing one, but yeah, that was a thing that happened. I was like, whoa, I did not expect this. Is this story progression sort of happening in the game already, but not totally? So it's things like that that really make me think that, okay, I'm sure a lot of people would have voted highly for story progression on that survey, but I think with those two features of eco lifestyle in mind, it's even more likely that story progression is going to happen. I don't think it's going to be that soon, because game development, especially these days, takes a very long time. So I doubt we'll get story progression, like, in the next few months. I mean, if we were super lucky, maybe we could already have it close towards the end of the year, because they already have a little bit of that framework seemingly put in. But then again, we've had vampires breaking in for years, and we still don't have burglars, so there is also that to consider. But I don't know, I would say a safe guess would be next year. Maybe next year we could get story progression for real in The Sims 4. Would it be really late to get it? Of course. That's a huge change to the core game, but I mean, I want cars. And I'm not gonna say, oh, I don't want cars anymore because the game's been out for almost 6 years. No, I still want cars to happen. I would be so gutted if we got The Sims 5 and cars just never happened for The Sims 4, even if, say, they were included in The Sims 5 at launch, but still. I just really like cars in The Sims, and I think they add a lot to the game regardless of whether the world is open or closed. Sims 2 cars are awesome. But getting back to story progression, I think having it in The Sims 4 would add something to an area that I think needs improvement, because I feel like lately there has been a lot of focus on build mode. That's not necessarily a bad thing on its own because, well, for a while I was complaining that build mode wasn't really getting enough attention. Like, sure, we can always rely on us getting new chairs with every pack, but we weren't getting really substantial additions. But now we have been starting to get those, like the configurable stairs before Realm of Magic came out, and also now we got ladders, and some other build mode additions as well. But I feel like with all that build mode stuff, they have been neglecting the Sims themselves as a result. I think we could use a bigger like personality injection and just stuff more like focused on the Sims rather than building, and it's kind of interesting. I do feel like a lot of people just build now, and even amongst the bigger YouTubers and such, it's so much about building now rather than playing live mode, which is, I mean, it's fine. If you want to play build mode, you can play build mode. But I'm just saying, it seems to be more of a trend now, at least from my perspective, than it even was like a couple of years ago. Building, building, building. So how about adding more stuff to other areas of the game? Same with Create a Sim in a way, though at least we did get piercings with Discovery University as well as Eco Lifestyle. But story progression would add more to the Sims themselves. It still would be on a more neighborhood and world scale like the neighborhood action plans in Eco Lifestyle, but I don't think it would hurt. I think it could help the game quite a lot. Just please don't have it be as glitchy as the neighborhood action plans are at the time of making this video. And I'm sure I'm asking too much by saying this, but I would love for story progression to not be as artificial this time around, because with The Sims 3 story progression, things just happen suddenly. It's like, boom, suddenly, next day, these two Sims are married. What? It's just kinda out of nowhere. And maybe things like traits could help decide what happens or what a relationship is like between two Sims, or if it's like close to a certain way, like if Sims are already disliked towards each other, then they can become enemies over time. And if Sims are building skills by themselves, it would be cool if we did happen to see them building skills. I mean, sure, it can happen while they're still at their house, so we don't have to always see each and every level up, but I think it would be nice to have the chance to see that. But in terms of more realistic looking story progression, the thing I would want to see most is that if two Sims are getting married, I want to see them actually getting married. If I go over to a lot that has a wedding arch on it, maybe there could be a notification that is telling you that the Sims are getting married and they're going to get married at this place in the park or whatever, and you could go and see the wedding, and it would just be so cool. I'd love to see more of this stuff actually happen instead of the game just telling us these things without the possibility of showing them. I think it would overall add a lot of depth to the game, not just that, oh, something is happening in the background, but that sometimes you can actually see them too. Because I know a lot of people love saying that The Sims 4 has no depth. I wouldn't say no depth, but I think it could use a lot more. So I think story progression, yeah, it could be a really interesting addition to the game, especially if they did go into more detail than they have in the past. But yeah, that's basically my discussion about story progression. Just me thinking that, yeah, it really does seem like post-Eco Lifestyle, those of you hoping for story progression, I think there's more stuff going on in your favor now. So let me know if you agree in the comment section below, or if you still think maybe it is too late for story progression to come into the game. I guess either way, Sims 5, I think they would bring it back. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap up this video here. So be sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with my latest content. from The Sims, Sonic the Hedgehog, Paralives, and more. I don't know why I keep switching Sonic the Hedgehog and Paralives around in my outro, but oh well, whatever. I like all 3 games. And yeah, you can see them on my channel. But anyways, yeah, I hope you all have a great day, and thanks for watching.